All right, we got something here. It's called The 5 React to Bill Cosby's Release from Prison. Let's get to it.
Fox News alert. In a stunning development, Bill Cosby is a free man. The disgraced entertainer appearing with his legal team outside his house just moments ago.
Mr. Cosby has always used
This is from Fox News.
His name, his likeness, to uplift women. How could a man who was being watched by the FBI every day be raping and drugging women in the 60s or 70s, especially a black man? Today, innocence came to Mr. Cosby.
Mr. Cosby, we knew all along he never should have been prosecuted for this. He had every right to rely on the prosecutor's word. And they pulled the rug out from underneath him because of politics, because of the court of public opinion, and that is not how our system should operate.
The actor, once known as America's Dad, returning home after being let out of prison on a technicality. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturning his 2015 sexual assault conviction. The court ruled that a non-prosecution agreement with a previous prosecutor should have prevented Cosby from being charged in that case. A jury found Cosby guilty of drugging and raping Temple University sports administrator Andrea Constant at his house in 2004. He was the first person to fall in the Me Too movement after dozens of women claimed that he drugged them and molested them. But now, the 83-year-old is now a free man. So, Dana, we heard from the Cosby team out there in the driveway in Pennsylvania, kind of making Cosby out to be the leader of the Me Too movement, if you take him at their word.
And they're almost euphoric. I can understand winning a case. You feel very good about it. This was a technicality. Technicalities matter in our system. So, I mean, this can happen. I think that for the women who came forward, who testified, it's a sad day for them. I think that it came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting this news, and I guess it was working its way through the system, but you don't really expect a technicality like this to overturn a jury trial. Right. But that's what's happened, and he is a free man. He is home. I think he was in for 2 years of a 10-year sentence.
Yeah, 2 years into a 3 to 10-year sentence, right. And 4-3 decision by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, Greg. I did not expect this either.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm watching this closely.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I feel bad for you, Jesse, because while he was in prison, you were, in a sense, America's dad.
People have referred to me as that.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to go to Harold because he knows everything about this, but I'm going to steal all his talking points.
Okay.
They did cross a line, right? They did cross a line, and we don't know if they would have been able to convict him if they hadn't crossed the line. So he has to go free because they screwed up, and that's the reason. The question is, how come nobody really in the media knew about this, right. But there was one person who did, and his name rhymes with Geraldo Rivera, who claimed that he was the guy that said, the court was tainted by public opinion and social pressure that prejudiced the evidence. And allowed for improper witnesses. And I think Geraldo's word was that even though it doesn't matter whether Cosby's a bad guy, he was railroaded. So it's kind of an interesting thing because if I get involved in a crime, I'm going to try to make sure it's as scandalous as possible because I don't want the court to function objectively. That way I can always win the appeal. But in terms of public opinion, this is a really good point to be made. Especially now that justice can be overwhelmed by public opinion, which is now magnified by social media. Because if you remember the time that this was going on, there was no way he could be innocent because all you heard all the time, because you believe when you see this stuff on social media, how can he be innocent? And then he's got his team working around the clock. He should buy them all drinks, but they shouldn't drink it.
Oh, gosh. So, as Greg mentioned, there was a deal by the district attorney in Pennsylvania, Harold, and he didn't think he could get a conviction on a criminal charge. So he said, we're not going to prosecute you criminally. We're going to do a civil case. And so Cosby thinks, hey, I'm clear with criminal charges. I'm going to be deposed in the civil case. Ends up saying, yeah, I did give girls Quaaludes. Mm-hmm. And then years later, new teams of prosecutors came in, disregard this agreement, and then charge the heck out of this guy. You think that was prosecutorial, I don't know, overreach?
Well, evidently, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court thinks that there was prosecutorial misconduct. Look, I don't think Bill Cosby would say that he's a saint. And whether we agree with the outcome of the trial or not, what is clear is the Supreme Court says you can't prosecute a person this way. We should all be thankful that our system is predicated and built around protecting individual rights. There are going to be outcomes that we don't like in legal cases. In fact, the most recent case that got a lot of attention, this police officer, Derek Chauvin in Minnesota, he got a trial. And the prosecution had to put on a case. That's how our system works. And if there was prosecutorial misconduct in this case with Bill Cosby, shame on those prosecutors. Because if he did the things that they claim that he did, and he gets off on this because they didn't do their job right, anyone upset ought to be upset with them. Because they were the ones that didn't do their job correctly and didn't follow the law.
And Katie, a jury still did, putting aside this agreement that was trashed, they still looked at the evidence and found him guilty.
Yeah, there's that. And as you mentioned, the 2005 civil suit where he admitted and the documents were released that he did in fact buy drugs to give to women that he wanted to have sex with. So that is on the record from Bill Cosby. Unfortunately, if you really truly believe in victims' rights and you want justice for victims, you have to believe that the technicalities matter. You have to get rid of the mob. You have to take out the emotional side of this, because in the end, the people here who are going to suffer are the victims of something that Bill Cosby admitted to doing. And there are cases like this that play out all of the time as a result of emotion getting into the courtroom or prosecutors not doing their job the right way. And then the victims who have spent decades of their life trying to get what they deserve in terms of some kind of justice for crimes that were committed against them, that all goes away in the blink of an eye, like today, because the things weren't done the right way. I believe that it's a good thing that the system has all of these protections built in for the accused, and it's up to, and it has the responsibility of the prosecutors and the judges and the jury to stick to the rules that we have in the Constitution in order to protect the rights of victims so that they get the justice that they deserve.
Is Cosby still in the clear, do you think, Dana? Do you think people are going to come out of the woodwork and, I don't know, years after the fact, maybe file additional charges just to really, I don't know, get justice for any of the women that are still out there?
So for the prosecutor that screwed up and their team, I would imagine that they're going to feel a desire to try to make it right.
Yeah.
And they just might not be able to do that.
Well, I don't think the Supreme Court barred it.
They said he can't be prosecuted again, but a civil case.
In Pennsylvania. I mean, sure, there's got to be other women out there. Weren't there almost 3 dozen women?
For losing time? Like, if this was an injustice, he should be the one that is suing for the 2 years of his lost life.
To your point, when you get older, that time is more. It's like the percentage of your life. I don't know. I can't do the math. You've done it before me before. But if you're in your 80s and you just spent over 2 years in prison and you were there wrongly on a technicality.
Could you imagine
it's worth more.
If the taxpayers of Pennsylvania have to pay a claim to Bill Cosby?
Yeah, well, the other part of this too is if you look at it from the perspective of a woman who maybe hasn't come forward yet or hasn't gone through the process of filing either a civil lawsuit or a criminal case. If you look
sometimes
at this
the statute
and the
limitations do have, have its limits.
Pursuing justice on your behalf and protecting you, screwed it up this way.
I don't know. Each state's varies. Some like
why would you
statute of limitations of rape is maybe 5 years.
Right?
Some is 10 years. Pretty
beaten down by what happened today.
Yeah, demoralizing for a lot of people. Thank you, Katie.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Anyways, yeah. I remember someone was talking about it. Saying, it's funny was Biden gets in the White House like that. 6 months later, Cosby gets out. Well, it tells you sometimes women do lie about cases like that. I mean, we know celebrities like Kobe Bryant many years ago. Remember the Duke lacrosse team? They made it 30 for 30 on ESPN called Fantastic Lies. Here's one more that most of you don't know. 1997, there was a case of a woman accusing Chauncey Billups when he was a young man. Yeah, back then. Chauncey Billups was the NBA superstar. He was assistant coach for the Clippers. He won the 2004 championship with the Detroit Pistons and won the finals. With the other stars on there like Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, and other players up there. He's now the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. So yeah, he was never charged. He was never brought to trial. It was settlement, but Chauncey Billups was never charged with them. They never even arrest him or anything like that. So that kind of tells you as well. Anyways, I'm out here. Mike Joe, peace out.